I think we simply must address something. We must address a person who's no longer with us. I'm talking, of course, about Stan Chera.
R.I.P. to a legend. R.I.P. to a god.
I have just all week long, I've been feeling like Stan Chera, and I've been just racked with this like just deep-seated fear that I will go out like him.
You don't want to go out like Stan Chera.
So many people in America have gone out like Stan Chera, and it needs to be acknowledged.
Stan Chera was an icon. Stan Chera had perfect skin. Stan Chera was unproblematic. Stan Chera always texted in the morning. Stan Chera was everything that you want a man or just a person to be. And now that he's gone, I feel this void in my life, and I don't know what to do. I haven't showered since Stan Chera has died in May.
I just love the fact that Trump now has his own personal Jacob Marley.
Yeah.
It's like when he got COVID and his lungs were filling with fluid and his life was flashing before his eyes. He saw Stan Chera floating with a bunch of chains around him and like beads poking out of his coat.
Each link I forged in life.
His brother died from it.
Yeah.
His brother, people have probably seen me and my brother, like, have fun on Twitter, right? Like me, I have a very good relationship with my siblings. Imagine if my brother Sam died of COVID and then I thought I was dying and I was like, oh no, am I going to die, exactly like John Prine? Someone I never met or and I used to think my first interpretation of the Stan Chera thing was like, oh, he liked Stan Chera more than his brother because his brother was a loser. But actually, the more I deconstruct it, the phrase "going out like Stan Chera," it's like, oh no, Stan Chera went out like
he was a loser.
He's
a bitch. He's a loser because Trump believes, like all Republicans believe, Trump believes that if you die of COVID, you're a bitch. 100 million %. And so even if he likes Stan Chera in the kind of vague way that he can like anyone, he lost all respect for Stan Chera the minute he died.
Yeah,
yes.
And it's like
dying means you're a loser. You've lost at the game of life.
You've lost the game of life. Napoleon, great general, one of the best, but he died. He's a loser.
The stuff he did. Imagine the activities he did with Stan Chera. Went to the world's most room temperature buffet with him. watched 17-year-olds ice skate at the plaza and ogled their asses.
Fast forwarding to the dogfighting scenes from Iron Eagle together in a fucking awful, moth-ridden yacht, drinking fucking diet Fantas because they're both dry drunk.
Yeah, did you see there's an interview with him from May or June where it's about how he started, taking Corona seriously. And he goes, I actually knew 4 or 5 people that died from it. And he goes, one in particular, a great, perfect man. And that's Stan Chera. It has to be
a wonderful,
Stan Chera.
perfect man.
I keep fantasizing about Trump, going out to, on the balcony, like Mussolini, waving at everyone, and just looking down the National Mall. And just looking to the sky and seeing Stan Chera just in the clouds, just beckoning to him, like Eazy-E in the Crossroads video with Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'll see you at the Crossroads, Stan.
I was laughing about Stan Chera, and some right-wing guy replied to me and was like, oh, you fucking lib. You think that happened? And it's like, if one thing has happened during the Trump presidency, that's it.
Yes. No one made that up on Trump's behalf, because the Trump is always able to outpace your wildest realistic imaginings of what he could do or say. See the thing with the fucking Superman t-shirt, which means, and that means that no one thought of Stan Chera. He thought of that. What? One of his Hogan Gidley or one of these fucking fucking Dr. Seuss named assholes.
Kayleigh McEnany.
Yeah, scrolls through his BlackBerry and finds a guy. Oh yeah, Stan Chera, and then reverse engineers that bit just so that they could put it into the fucking The Hill. No, he said that shit. No, he said am I going to go out like Stan Chera?
That's so unlike Trump. It's so made up that he would bring up some fucking 370-pound New York real estate goblin.
Does anyone
when he
remember
thinks
that-
he's dying? That's exactly what he would do. That's what he did.
People have completely forgotten, and I remember this in 2016. His candidacy is remembered as this virtuoso performance of white grievance. Right? He played the American electorate like a fiddle, agitating all of their racial and gender and immigration-related fears, to just echoing their anxieties personally in his own language. But a good 30% of every one of his some speeches was about Carl Icahn and how he was a killer. He's amazing. He's a shark. We're gonna put him in charge of the money. It's like no one on earth knows who that is, dude. What are you talking about?
He was going in front of crowds of jug hooters and talking about guys who he ate scalloped potatoes with in 1987. And they were like, yes, sir. Hey, yes, you're as smart as Henry Kravitz, who I also love. I love it when you imply that you were at an orgy with every side character from Barbarians at the Gate.
Holy fuck, that's a pull. James Garner.
That's also one of my favorite books.
Oh, man. Oh, yeah, it's good stuff.
Well,
and Liar's Poker, the two best books about financialization in the 80s.
I don't want to leave him aside. God has left him aside, but Stan Chera, Stan Chera lives. Stan Chera has a posse. I'm going to start putting up street art all around New York about Stan Chera. Stan Chera is 5'5", very short.
What do you think Stan Chera's life was like? Like he was the head. He was like in one of these like Republican organizations in New York, which is just like, that's like one step removed from just being the mafia. That's one step removed from like a construction job.
He was a real estate guy. He was 100% like a mobbed up dude, like doling out jobs to the fucking Soprano family. 100%. Just a guy who spent his days in air conditioned rooms, eating room temperature lunch meat, as you said, having just like disgusting 2-minute encounters with prostitutes, golfing, and then dying like a bitch.
Yeah, he was a New York developer who like just did like bullshit campaigns that are probably just money laundering activity for the Manhattan Republican Party. And so, his name, not his actual name, but he's probably obliquely referenced on like every Paul Castellano wiretap. As, As like,
you go as like, the guy.
Yeah, as like the guy, the Jew, or fat man.
Right.
Well, Stan Chera aside, though, it's obviously we were all delirious last week with Trump getting COVID and being in Walter Reed and spreading it to like half of the Republican Party. But they let him out of the hospital. Dunstan checks into the White House, and he's got a highly contagious disease. I guess like I kind of sympathize with the doctors at Walter Reed because it's like he's the president.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's insane to me that they let him out of the hospital, and then like Trump just keeps saying I'm immune to it.
He's immune.
He's immune. He was talking to. There was a really so like. He's only on 2 feet and speaking right now because he is doped up on like highly experimental drugs.
He is hopped up on goofballs.
He keeps talking about Regeneron.
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 That's not the name of the drug. It's the company. He is just doing a fucking pitch. He's like fucking William Devane for Goldline. It's like, folks, I'm telling you about a wonderful new company, Regeneron.
Regeneron is like the central item in one of those Philip K. Dick stories where you could tell he had given up. Like, I think this is the greatest. Like, I love how like just the palette is so weird now, and especially the past 2 years, especially, and this year, these 2 years especially have been so weird that it's like the president probably eliminated 30% of his cognitive power with steroids.
Yep, just click it.
And then he did a video looking worse than he's ever looked.
Terrible.
On the lawn of the White House, and his pitch to seniors who he's flagging with. He's like eating shit with seniors.
Yeah.
He saw those polls about seniors.
And his pitch was, he turned to like all the Draculas that financed the Republican Party and were like, don't worry, I got this. And he's like, hey, I have vaporized 30% of my brain with steroids, and I am going to let you do it for free.
Yeah. You also will be able to put your...
Yes. Do you see how
that
cool
was awesome. He was like,
how cool I am now? You can be this way.
you will have a free opportunity to stick your head in a microwave like James in Cadenza.
Felix, it was like, you said like, doctors. It's wonderful. The wonderful doctors at Walter Reed. What a group. What a gang of guys. They've deemed me, in their words, a quote medical moron. And would you like to be like me as well? I'm giving you all these drugs for free. And it was like, Felix, like you showed us that text. It's an amazing
new story.
Like,
they're calling it Flowers for Donald.
Flowers for Donald. He actually said in one of these.
I think you showed us that text. No, Felix, you showed us that text. I think it was from like your mom or sister, and she was like riffing about how Trump thinks Regeneron reanimates the dead, and he's like, "We're bringing them all back. Yeah. We're bringing back Stan Chera. We're gonna Regeneron him.
Everybody who died of COVID, they're gonna be here. Don't worry about it."
That was my mom talking about using Regeneron to bring back Stan Chera.
Felix's whole family is very gifted, folks.
It's nothing but hitters.
It's maybe probably the best group chat I'm in.
The other thing he was there was two very funny interviews over the past couple of days. There's one he gave with Hannity. And someone pointed out though that like when he first got out of the hospital, it was very telling that he was doing these like sort of White House lawn videos that were probably all shot one right after another, but he wasn't calling into his friends on TV.
Not at all.
That's how you know he was pretty fucked up. But eventually, he has recovered. I don't know which god to thank for that, but he was calling it to Hannity, and then he muted himself on Hannity so that he could cough up half of his fucking lung. And then he was talking to Maria Bartiromo on Fox Business, and then he just says like he's just like talking about how good the Regeneron makes him feel. And then he goes, he says to her, it's because he's like, I don't know, I'm immune. He goes, it's because I'm extremely young.
He said, I'm a perfect physical specimen and extremely young.
Physical specimen who is extremely young. Folks, I'm baby. The Regeneron's made me a baby.
It's Benjamin Button. I'm Benjamin Button. But just think about that. He said that. Imagine what hopped up on all the goofballs he zooted to the gill. Imagine what he sees in the mirror right now. Like, what kind of vision is he caught by? It's
like when Marge asks Homer if he has a drinking problem. And she's like, do you drink to escape reality? And he's like, nope, dude. And he's just flexing in the mirror.
I'm a perfect physical specimen and very young. That is like a caption on like an e-girl photo.
And the other really good thing he said, and you're totally right though, that he is aware of these polls that I've seen that show a huge shift away from him from people over 60, which let's be honest is the election. That's all politics in America. They're the only people who vote. Like the only people. Yeah, that's everyone who matters, at least as far as our democracy is concerned.
Yep.
And he had another really good line in one of the White House lawn videos where he was just like, to our seniors, our beautiful seniors, everyone keeps saying that you're vulnerable. Well, you're not vulnerable. Well, except maybe to this one thing. You're pretty vulnerable, but, we're going to help you out. We're going to give you that. Yeah, it's just like, they keep calling you the vulnerables, but you're not. You're just like me.
He also said, I'm vulnerable, which is amazing that he ever said that.
Yeah, the entire group therapy session cheered when he did that.
Yeah. That was a real breakthrough.
He's doing CBT. And by that I mean cock and ball torture.
That's some Goodwill Hunting shit.
Yeah.
It's not your fault, Donald.
I think the worst thing he could have done for his chances, it's a bad reflection on America and our politics and all of us, but the worst thing he could have done for his reelection was not oversee the deaths of 200,000 Americans. It was to give himself corona. And because it made him look fucking stupid and weak and foolish and like a fucking mark. Like all he did was talk about like how not wearing masks and like don't let it dominate your life, and it's like it's changed your life forever. Like you are never going to be the same. You are fucked up forever. You were already fucked up from like being addicted to diet pills, but this is the most fucked up you've ever been, and you're never getting out of this. And it just like it makes him look apparently weak and foolish.
Well, not only have they checked him out of the hospital as he continues to just like he's walking around like Pigpen in a cloud of fucking virus particulate matter, but no. Apparently, according to news reports, he wants to do a live event, a rally every single day from now until election day.
He's got to move that paper.
Which, I mean, I think is great. Yeah, I think it's great. But you know what, though? I mean, obviously, like, anything can happen. Who the fuck knows what's going to happen on election day or what's going down? But I mean, if you just compare Trump in 2016, when no one thought he was going to win and he was just playing with house money, to now, we're like, I mean, he's looking at the same polls everyone else is. And when you're not president, you can say the polls don't matter. But like, he has been president for 4 years now, and it's harder to have that. To play loose, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what's he doing now? He's going into full whiner mode. And he's getting mad that like Bill Barr hasn't indicted Hillary. He's talking about fucking Hillary Clinton in 2020. He's just like, hey, remember Crooked Hillary, everybody? Like, I'm playing all my hits. Would you like to get high like me for free? Would you like to have my spectacular brain for free?
He is looking through he's through the looking glass. He's looking through the prism of time because like time is bending around him because of how high his metabolism is jacked. And he is seeing 2016 in the mirror and he's like, there, go back there. And everyone will
that was good. That was fun. That was good. Yeah.
But no, I mean Hillary has tried her best to be relevant.
They're doing this whole Obamagate thing now.
Yeah.
Obamagate is the most boring Trump scene. Like I consider myself an expert on these things, on the Glenn Simpson and Nellie Orr stuff. And even I can't really tell you what Obamagate is. As far as I understand, it's about how Obama told Susan Rice to like put out a memo saying to wiretap Michael Flynn to make Donald Trump look bad so he would lose the election because everyone would know about the wiretap. But it's like clearly not clearly. I guess Obama.
Why wasn't any of it released?
Yeah,
that's what I don't understand. Like they just collected it and then let it win.
I guess
releasing it beforehand.
I guess that Obamagate's kind of like it's the most realistic of these accusations against Obama and the deep state because it's like, well, if Obama was going to use the deep state to sabotage another another candidate, it would be something where it's like, all right, so a year after he's president, everyone will find out about the wiretap, and it will make them look so bad. We're still going to let him win.
I got to say, this makes me a lib, but it doesn't really trouble me or my civil liberties spirit to imagine that the FBI investigated a guy running for president who is just gigantically in debt to various Russian fucking mafia figures that everyone knew about. It's like, then they say in the Comey rule, like, this guy might be a security threat. That wasn't crazy to think. I'm not saying it meant that he was Putin's puppet, but from the point of view of being something like the Justice Department, and you see this guy running for president, and you see the people all around him, I don't understand. I'm not horrified that the bourgeois state as such reacted that way.
Yeah, I'm not even like, you don't even have to go to Russia. You would notice like this guy did a complete 180 on his posture on Turkey and Erdogan within 3 months of them giving him $250,000, and it's
right.
Maybe this guy shouldn't have a fucking clearance.
Flynn was openly doing crimes. He was like exchanging fucking money for influence as a goddamn general. It's absurd.
Yeah, and it's like he got off pretty fucking light.
Yeah,
for what he did.
To him.
For what he like everyone like that in DC. Nothing fucking happened to him. I mean, Flynn. I don't really give a shit too much about the thing that Flynn went down for, like the phone call to Kislyak, because it's like, okay, he should have called him 3 weeks later. I mean, like Flynn as NSA, he was better than Bolton, I guess, because just out of sheer corruption, Flynn was less interventionist in posture in a lot of cases, but he was still like shitty. He was still like a bad conservative NSA. I don't even really think
even there.
Yeah,
he got decanned almost immediately.
Yeah. I mean,
that's like a month later.
That's the thing. Even if you agree with Flynn policy-wise, he showed himself to be too fucking stupid.
Stupid not to get caught. And the thing is that, like, I know there's a lot of people who edgily like to, wrap this stuff up as a aha to liberals of like, you guys were caring about Russiagate, made up Russiagate, whereas this was a real, violation by the government. And look, they, leaked this to the press, and that constitutes propaganda. I'm sorry. To me, these are mirror things. This is all 100% love and war in bourgeois fucking politics. This is how capitalist parties and capitalist systems operate. There's nothing to be outraged about either way. It's fair ball. And like to care about it is to become care mad on behalf of what? The Republican Party and the personal ego of Donald fucking Trump, who just wants to get rid of the asterisk next to his victory that's really there because of his own insecurity and the fact that he lost by 3 million votes.
Yeah, that's the fucking asterisk.
Exactly, but he can't get after that. He has to get after it by saying, "Oh no, I would have won. I would have won if it wasn't for the dastard Obamagate people." And so, caring about that from the right position, or even from some sort of contrarian populist position, is just a mirror image of the libs clinging to fucking Russiagate as an explanatory mechanism. I mean, that doesn't require them to examine the deeper structural failings that led to it.
Yeah, and like, can you, beyond just that one skews left in defense of Trump, or one skews right in defense of Trump, and one skews left in defense of Hillary, can you really find a tonal or any big difference in between the people who cry about Lev Parnas and the people who cry about Glenn Simpson?
What's the difference?
Same thing.
It's impenetrable garbage no one cares about. And that's the thing. The only thing this matters about, the only reason we're even talking about this is because Trump is making this his like end zone pitch. The last minute
he's fucking whining
to get away from what looks like from the polls an ass kicking. And he's grabbing it at these straws around this idea. Is it going to matter? And I say it's going to matter to normal people. They're going to ones who are going to decide this as much as Russiagate does, which is zero. It's the mirror thing, which means it mirrors its electoral irrelevancy. No one gives a shit about Nellie Orr or Glenn Simpson or Lev Parnas or Yakov Smirnov or Beef Stroganoff, whoever the fuck these people are. Either way.
He's whining. He's whining like Stan Chera did as he choked out his last breaths on a ventilator.
Stan Chera actually went out like a man. Well, Trump and Stan Chera were driving back from a sit down, and Stan Chera crashed the car. And a tree branch went through.
Yeah, and then Trump put just cupped his hand over his mouth.
Yeah. I was relieved when I found out, not because I was happy that Stan Chera died, but because I was afraid it would be you. That was Melania. My nephew Stan Chera became a fucking liability. Who knew if he was gonna? This is gonna be the day that he sells me out for a well done hamburger.